So just do it. So first of all, put your hand over your heart. I do this with all my retreats, all my workshops, and just check in with how you're feeling right now. So just check in. No judgment. Just how are you feeling? Happy, sad, open, closed? Just yell it out. Let me hear how you're feeling right now. I feel good. Do. Feel good. What else? Relaxed. Anxious. Good. So here's the thing. I want to ask you a few questions. Coming from that place first of trusting your heart, are you content with your life right now? Are you happy? Are you doing what you want to do? So here's the thing. I had a whole other talk planned until last night when I saw this. This came up on the internet, and I thought this is so interesting. So a special day was created in 2006 to help you take the time to ponder your life. And turns out October 19th, yesterday, is International Evaluate Your Life Day. Did you know that? So it's the 20th, and we're going to do it today, right here. So it's a day, this was created as a day for people to pause and reflect on their lives and assess their goals, achievements, happiness, and overall life. And it's a chance for self-reflection, but also just to do it in this gentle way. If you notice with that song, just do it. I'm going to give myself a gentle push. This is not like we're going to look at things today and go, okay, this afternoon, clear out all the clutter in one afternoon. No. It's going to be a way of just gently looking at things. So I have some questions to ask you that came from this little survey here. So what is my passion, and am I following it? Do I love what I'm doing for my living right now? Is there something I would rather be doing? And if so, what can I do to make it happen? Here's another one. What does my day look like? Am I living my day exactly the way I want to? Could I be doing more or less? Am I taking care of my mental and physical health? Do I have enough time for myself? I love this one. Am I tending to my inner soul? Are you tending to your inner life, your inner soul? And I love this one. What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? I have a whole workshop on I give myself permission, which is all about how we just kind of wait for permission, to start doing the things. And I'm looking at this idea today of just like, don't wait. Don't wait. And I love this. If this was my last day on earth, what would I do and who would I spend it with? I also would add, what would I eat? But that's a whole other thing. But what do you think about those questions? Are you living your life exactly the way you want? And if you're not, what could you be doing different? So if I was going to do the magic wand and say, I am now officially taking away all of those excuses of I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm too tired, all those things, especially if I took away your inner critic, how would that change things? Did you know there's also an International No Self-Hate Day? I found out about that too. It's this whole declaration of like taking your inner critic out to lunch and leaving them there. Do y'all have an inner critic, or should I just stop this part? So my inner critic, her name is Zelda. And Zelda is there all the time to just constantly monitor what I'm doing. And she's got this little voice that's just going off all the time, just going, who do you think you are? And you're not doing enough. And, and so if you really just took that away, if you took away that inner critic, what would you be doing? If you took away all those excuses, all of your buts, all of your big buts, if you took away the big buts of your life in the sense of like, oh, I can't do this but, I'd love to do this but, what would you be doing? So magic wand. So for this next 20 minutes or so that we have together, let's look at what would your life be like if you had the magic wand and you said, I'd be riding a motorcycle. That's maybe what God is trying to tell me. So, let's face it, these are crazy times right now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little anxious about everything. Anybody else? And to me, it's kind of like the idea of like, what am I waiting for? I keep finding myself saying, oh, after the election, I'll be okay. Anybody else saying that? After we get through this stuff, I'll be okay. And again, if I was to wave the magic wand and say, am I spending my life, my time, every day, right now, not after the election, right now, am I taking care of myself? Am I doing what it is that I need to do to be happy? Because let's face it, folks, there's always going to be something, isn't there? You know, the election's over, then, oh my God, there's this next thing we got to worry about. And you know, God bless my sweet little husband. He just has that television going all the time. It's like, God forbid he doesn't hear the latest news that's been reiterated over and over and over again. You know, and I just think it's like, I need to just declare, it's exactly what that little chant was. Peace begins with me, right here, right now, not after the election, today. I can be happy today, even with the anxiety that's going on for me around this. I can be happy today. But you know, when we have that idea of a vision, that vision gives us hope. I think that's what we need the most of these days, don't you think? We need faith. We need hope. And how do you get there? So, you know, when we were kids, I don't know about you, but I used to daydream a lot. And I used to be like, Karen, you know, come back to the room. You know, and I'd be looking out the window and I'd be daydreaming. I get in trouble all the time for daydreaming. But, you know, we stop that process as we grow up because we learned that thing about daydreaming and looking off into space is not good. You know, you're not being productive. But I am here, again, magic wand, I am here to say, let yourself dream. Let yourself have your imagination. Imagination is like, and dreams are like, there's this garden hose. And there's all this energy and life pouring through that garden hose. But when we somehow think it's not okay to do it, we step on that garden hose, don't we? And it gets backed up. And then pretty soon you go, when someone says to you, well, what do you want? What do you want? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. And you know, I think that that is a great exercise to do every morning, to put your hand over your heart, check in with your heart. How am I feeling, and what do I want today? What do I need today? To do that every morning. It's a great way of just exercising that muscle of creativity and imagination. I love this quote, let the magical stand up to the practical. Isn't that good? Because how often does that's where your inner critic comes in and gives you all the practical thing. No, that can't be done because here's the reason why. But if you say, let your imagination stand up to the practical. And I love Alice in Wonderland said in that wonderful story, why sometimes I've believed as much as 6 impossible things before breakfast. Isn't that great? What's impossible? Open to the possibilities of what could be. You know, because the thing about having the vision, you have to open up to beyond what you can physically see. Who is it? Was it Wayne Dyer that wrote a book called You'll See It When You Believe It? Not the other way around. You'll see it when you believe it. Meaning you have to act as if. You have to see it before it's going to come to fruition. You can't wait around saying, well, give me all the signs, universe. Just plop it all in front of me and then I'll go, okay, this can happen then. But here's the thing, longing, I love this quote, longing and discontent is life signaling to you that you're ready for more. So when you are getting a little pissy about anything, when you're discontent with anything, I am here to say that's fabulous. Because it's showing you that your little spirit inside is saying, I think there's more to me. I think there's a better job for me. I think there's more that I can express in the world. And so when you get discontented, meaning you get that little knot in your stomach when you're doing something, and 6 months ago it was fine being in this job or living in this house or wearing these clothes or hanging out with this friend, but all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're starting to go, that didn't feel good. And I'm saying that is your spirit that is calling you out. It's calling you out saying, more. What else is there that you can express? So I love this quote. This is from Under the Tuscan Sun. Did anyone ever see that movie? This is the greatest example of you have to believe it. You have to see it first. And there's this woman was feeling completely lost in her life. And he said, you have to start visioning for your life. And he said, between Austria and Italy, there is a section of the Alps called the Simmering. It is an impossibly steep, very high part of the mountains. And they built a train track over these Alps to connect Vienna and Venice. Now, they built these train tracks before there was even a train in existence. Now, listen to that. They built these train tracks before there was even a train in existence that could even make that trip. They built it because they knew someday, one day, that train would come. So when you look at even something as, I start off saying, who's got clutter issues? If you even start to look at, here's this room that you can't even walk into, or a basement, or an attic, or a closet, or whatever, but you have to have the vision of what it looks like. You have to have the vision of seeing that room that's completely cluttered as a guest room, or your art studio. You know, I love this example. I love visuals. So when you don't have a vision, you're kind of doing this. It's kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. But as soon as you say, I have the vision of what this room could be, it goes like that. And look at the difference of the power between this and that. And that's what building a train track without having the train ready is all about. So let me give you one little story. That this is when I learned completely the power of act as if. Many, many years ago, I was a singer playing in all of these bars in San Francisco. Did anyone ever remember the Grosvenor Hotel on Van Ness and Geary? Yeah, not a great hotel. You know you're in a bad area when you're walking to work and the winos are kind of going, hi, Karen, how are you? Have a great night. I mean, it just was just not a good scene there. And I worked in this room called the Poets Pub. And the Poets Pub was a room filled with, the walls were lined in red velvet with pictures of dead poets on the walls. And it was dark and dingy, but in the daytime, I was a house cleaner. I was cleaning houses for like $50 a day, but then trying to play clubs at night. And so this one guy that I was working for him, he said, you know, Karen, obviously you must be wanting to do more than being a house cleaner. I said, oh yeah, I want to be a musician. And he goes, oh, well, I've got a friend who's got this hotel. They're looking for a piano player. I was like, oh my God, I'll be a professional. And so a week later, I was playing piano bar for 5 nights a week on this old rusted, one of those big grand pianos that had the stools right there, and with my tip jar in the middle and the guys smoking cigarettes going, play Misty for me, honey, and putting $1 in my jar. I mean, it was so depressing. But because it was brand new, I was thrilled. I was making $50 a night, and I'm a musician, and I was thrilled. I was thrilled until I wasn't thrilled anymore. I was thrilled until I got to a point where I was so bored that I literally, have you ever done this where you take your watch off going, okay, I'm just not going to look at my watch. I have 4 hours here. I'm going to make it like I just don't even know what the time is. And I would play and play and play, and then I would look at my watch and realize that 10 minutes had gone by. That's when you know you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So at that time, I was not into New Thought or any of this stuff, but someone gave me a book. And this is how I love how the universe works. Someone just happened to give me this book, some Wayne Dyer book. And I think it was probably, you'll see it when you believe it. And in this book, he introduced a concept I had never even heard of before, of act as if. And he kept saying in this book, what do you want? Instead of complaining about, I'm at this bar with a bunch of drunk guys, okay, so what do you want? You know, you got what you want because you got this job because you wanted out of that thing. Well, now, what do you want from here? Springboard. And so I sat down and said, well, what do I really want? And that's why I say this is like a muscle, because when you haven't practiced doing this, when you say, what do you want, you literally can go blank, because your inner critic will come in and put in the fog. And what happens in fog? You can't even access anything, because your critic wants to keep you nice and safe and stuck and not move anywhere and stretch and grow. But I kept saying, what do I want? What do I want? And all of a sudden, I thought, I want to play on a cruise ship. That would be the coolest thing. Well, where do you want to go? Hawaii. And so I started to visualize, and I just used what he was talking about in the book. See it. Write it down as if you're writing a letter to someone saying, oh my God, you wouldn't believe this great job I have. I'm on this cruise ship in Hawaii. I'm wearing these sequin dresses. I'm doing shows. You write it all out exactly the way you want it. So I did that. And then it was like, okay, instead of just saying, oh, I'm just going to dream about it, just do it. What do you want to do? What do you have to do to get there? So I made a little demo tape. I sent it. I found out who to send it to. I sent it to American Hawaii Cruises with this letter. I really want to be on the ship. And I do all the steps you have to do. And I'm like, okay, universe, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And nothing's happening. And that's when I realized it's the concept of what we say in religious science, the concept of treat and move your feet, meaning you can pray, but do something about it. Don't just pray. What are you going to do? Just do something. So every day, I would affirm, I would do whatever I needed to do, and what I started to do, and this is where that idea of the taut rope comes in, I acted as if I was going to get that call within a month. And what am I going to do? If I get that call, am I ready? I wasn't. I didn't have charts together for the band. I didn't have the clothes. So I went out and I bought the clothes. There's nothing giving me any indication that this is happening. But if I was going to do a cabaret show, I needed to have a sequin dress. So I went out and got it. And it hung in my closet, and I would look at it every day going, I'm going to wear you soon. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like I'm doing everything possible on a daily basis to affirm it. But then, I'll tell you honestly, nothing happened. I called, oh yeah, we got your stuff, we'll get back to you. And then I started to get depressed again. I'm like, all of a sudden, where during that 4-hour job I was practicing and rehearsing and having all this energy because this thing is coming, nothing was coming. And so then I realized the second part, plan B, where else do I want to go? And I had to allow myself to get big and think, well, if that doesn't come through, but something's going to happen where I'm going to wear that damn sequin dress that I bought. So I just started to plant other seeds. But at the same time that this was moving on, I kept affirming every day that this is happening. And that's what's so great about our philosophy. We're not being lofty out there. We're affirming. We're doing affirmative prayer here. And affirmative prayer is that you're saying, I see it, I claim it, I know that this is happening. I don't know when it's happening, but it's happening. You're not saying, oh, my health is going to be better when. No, I am healed, whole, and healthy right now. Even if it's not looking that way, you're affirming it every day. And that's the muscle that you have to keep working every day. What do you want your life to be? Keep affirming it. Health, friends, a social life, whatever it is. Good, whatever it is. So anyway, I'm affirming this every day. And I'm kind of going back and forth about, oh, is this even going to happen? And blah, but whatever. So one day, this guy comes into the bar, and he sits at the bar with, he's singing some songs with me, and he's got this really great voice. And I'm like, oh my God, who are you? Why, usually I got these just old drunk guys coming in and just harassing me. But he's this really good singer. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm a professional singer. I went, oh, how great. God, sing with me every night. I'm here 5 nights a week. He goes, oh yeah, I'd love to. I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. I said, really, 2 weeks? He goes, oh yeah, I'm a singer on a cruise ship, and we're dry docked in San Francisco. And I went, oh really, what ship? American Hawaii Cruises. I went, really? And I was on that ship within a month. Because the entire crew, but that's the universe. That's the kind of stuff when I say being let the magical stand up to the practical means, let the magic part, the part of you that's visioning and has no idea when it's going to happen, let that come true. And stand up to the practical, which is like I had no way of knowing what was happening, if it was going to happen to me. So I was on that ship, and here's the thing. I was on that ship for a couple months, loved it, had the time of my life, until I didn't. Until once again, that voice came up. That thing in my stomach came up saying, I think there's more. And I'll tell you something, I wouldn't be standing here doing a talk like this if I didn't listen to that voice that all through my entire life has said, little girl, there's something more. There's something more. Not there's something more better, it's not like that. There's something more in your being that wants to be expressed. Because for years I sat at that piano behind authors and ministers. I was a music director for 15 years at 3 different churches. But one day I got this idea that it's like, I was actually, what's my time? I'll tell you the story real fast. I was actually at a conference, this huge conference, actually opening up for Wayne Dyer, interestingly enough. And I remember there was this other speaker that asked me to just do a few songs before they came out. And then they said, okay, what I'd like you to do, though, is stay there at the piano, and I'm going to do a meditation. And then as soon as the meditation's done, then you can leave. But if you'd stay there. And so I do my little songs before they come on, and then I go, I'm sitting at my little piano, I'm waiting for their meditation to start, and this person keeps going on and on and on. And now, in my mind, I'm going, well, what's going on? Should I get up? Do I leave? Are they going to do it any minute? What's happening? And this is going on for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. And I'm sitting on this little awful hard stool over there. And what was really amazing was, I'm just being this good little person, and I'm waiting for a little time to do my thing. And all of a sudden, I felt myself get hot. And I got this knot in my stomach. And I'm like, and because really, remember, I'm sitting there for an hour and a half. I have time to process whatever's going on for me. And I'm just going, what? What is happening with you? And I'm just going through all this stuff going, why am I getting I'm just having like these hot flashes or something. And all of a sudden, I looked, and from where I was, the spotlight was right, if I was sitting over here, the spotlight was right there. And I heard this voice inside of me say, oh, good, I got your attention. And that voice said to me, you're done with not being in the spotlight. And what they were saying, what this inner voice was saying to me was, it's time for you to express at a deeper level, at a higher level, than just sitting behind a piano. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't have any rule book. I had nothing to figure out what that meant. But I just knew that Spirit was calling me out, saying, what is in you that needs to be expressed? And that's a question. You could even say, my spirit is calling me to what? To ask that question every day. My spirit is calling me to, what? And so what happened for me in that place was, I would love to say to you, then the next day I stopped being a music director and I got keynote talks everywhere and I just was on the road. It did not happen like that. Life is a zigzag path. But the one thing that I know for sure is this little story I want to tell you, because this is what happens when you're going to make a change in your life, whatever it means. It's a 1-degree shift that is so little, but it starts with a seed. And one of my favorite stories to talk about is in 1989, I was part of the first American women's relay team to swim the English Channel. And I was each person swims an hour at a time. And I was the second swimmer in. And that's the main shipping lane. When you're an hour out, couple miles out into the channel, that's when you get these big old tanker ships coming by. And you literally have to sign a waiver before you swim the English Channel that says, yes, I, Karen Drucker, say if a tanker ship comes along and takes my head off, it's fine with me. Here you go. And so you literally have to sign this waiver saying the tanker ship has the right of way. So you have this little guy with his little bow tie from the English Channel Commission who sits there for all the hours that you're doing this, who makes sure that no one's cheating, make sure you're treading water when it's time to, whatever. But they're making sure that if that tanker ship is coming, they blow the little whistle and you have to tread water. While literally the Empire State Building goes right in front of you and you hear this. But here's the reason I tell you the story, is that a tanker ship needs to know a mile out that it's going to make a 1-degree shift. You get that? It needs to know a mile out that it's going to all of a sudden turn. It can't see me in the water and go, oh, oops. It needs to know a mile out that it's going to start to move this way. And so if there's any seed that I can plant with you today, it's that idea of what is calling you? What is Spirit calling you? That could be just the smallest little kernel that will start to move you in this direction that you might not even know what it is right now. But that picture, I know you've all seen it, the picture of a little flower that's coming up in the cement. That's what this is today. It's you can have all these obstacles, but you are that little flower that's coming up going, I just want to express. And that's what this is. My spirit is calling me to what? And so with what I'm doing now today, it was really, it's this zigzag all the way. I mean, even with the English Channel, you know, if you stand on the shore of Dover looking at Calais, France, and go, oh, I'm just going to swim 22 miles straight across, you're never going to make it. Another great life analogy. If you go straight across going, oh, I know where I'm going, I'm just going to go this way, the tides are going to take you. So the way that whole swim worked is you go this way, and you go 32 miles instead of 22. And when it was my turn to swim, the first girl had gone this way, and then the pilot, you're swimming next to this pilot boat, and also I look at that as God. God, you know, he could see more than me, but he puts me in, I start to swim, and he has the boat directed to New York, and I'm swimming to New York, and the entire time I'm going, he must be insane. I'm going the wrong way. It's over there. But again, God, universe, he's looking at the computer charts. He's looking at the tides. He has a better perspective than me doing this. So when you think about being open to the possibilities of where your life can lead, and when you allow yourself to just let it go from here to here to here, you never know where it's going to lead. So I end today with this little chant that just says, I am open to the possibilities. I am open to the possibilities of a life that is meant to be lived by me. Can you sing that with me? I am open to the possibilities. I am open to the possibilities of a life that is meant to be lived by me. So here's your assignment for this week. What is one impossible thing that you've been putting off that you want to do? So think about that right now. What is one thing that maybe you've been thinking of, you've made it into too big of a deal, but you're willing to take a micro movement, just the smallest step towards it? So what would you do for yourself? Think about that. Now, what is something you could do for somebody else? Just one thing. Something maybe you've been thinking about, oh, I wanted to call that person or send them flowers or write a card or an email. What is one thing you could do for someone else that's going to make their day? And then the last thing is, what can you do for this world that we need help right now? Even if it means that you're going to sit down and pray for 5 minutes every day. Donate money, write a postcard, call a friend and tell them, are you voting? Whatever you can do. But like my song said, just do it. Whatever it is, just do it. So sing with me one more time. I am open to the possibility. I am open to the possibility of a life that is meant to be lived by me. So just go do it. So love and peace begins with us. Do you agree? Thich Nhat Hanh said, if we want peace, we have to be peace. Peace is a practice and not a hope. So it goes like this. Let me teach it to you. Peace begins with me. Peace begins Peace begins with me. Can you sing that with me? Just real quiet. Just say, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. When I come from peace, peace is all I see. Peace begins with me. You got it. Do it again. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. When I come from peace, when I come from peace, peace is all I see. Peace begins with. Let's go to love. Love. Love begins with me. Ain't that the truth? Love begins with me. When I come from love, when I come from love, love is all I see. Love begins with me. You want to claim some joy today? Let's do joy. Joy begins with me. Joy begins. Joy begins with me. When I come from joy, when I come from joy, joy is all I see. Joy begins. All right, let's go. Let's go back to peace. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. When I come from peace, peace is all I see. Peace begins with me. Just that last line. Peace begins. Peace begins with me. One more time. Peace begins with me.
Thank you. Thank you. And so let's take this moment to move into our meditation, beginning with just a deep breath. And as you go inward, just thinking of something that you're grateful for today, someone that you're grateful for today. And I had a different meditation plan, but during this song I just was thinking of, it just felt like coming home. So let's just think about what feels like home to you. What feels like coming back to a place that you're remembering to remember. Coming back to a place that feels exactly like home that you may have lost sight of. And I talked about this inner pilot light earlier, and just that's a piece of it. Just thinking about right behind the heart, behind the physical heart, there's this place and this still flame that's always burning gently, that has never been hurt or harmed, that has only known love, that can never be extinguished. And so when we come to places like this, often we're reminded of that space within us, and that we can share that space with a like-minded community that is only filled with unconditional love. So I breathe from that heart space and maybe just imagine that inner pilot light just glowing. And as I listen to Karen's music just for a minute or two in the silence, I just explore that space that reminds me that I am home. And so feeling right at home, I can just imagine myself falling into the arms of the God of my understanding. Just trusting into that source. It's got me. And it's always had me. And it's always there, just burning like the inner pilot light that it is. So as we take a deep breath together, let's just give gratitude again for this day. Gratitude for this chance to be together in this spiritual practice called Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco. I'm so grateful for this, in this moment, in this time, today. And so it is.